Hey guys, what's up? My name's Jess. We're gonna do a food review containing every single food, pretty much every single food except for the, useless foods. If I don't mention one, then it's not applicable to consuming for your pals and for yourself, because it's just either not useful or just not good in general. So, first and foremost is chickpea saute and their herb roasted lamb bowls. These require red berries as a secondary ingredient, along with their pal-specific meat, which is the chickpea and the lamb bowl. Now these are very easy to obtain. You can obtain them through the plateau beginnings, which is the first area that you find it in. Just be careful of these mammoths. Now there is another place that we can obtain these, which I will go into later in the video. But yes, you have options for late game and early game, but because these are just in such an abundance, you can find so many of these pals everywhere, technically everywhere. You can just save the meat, you can just save the food if you want, or you can just go get them later, But so early game, yeah, these are great dishes because secondary ingredients are just red berries, and you need a cooking pot to make it, so level 19. But eventually you're gonna be able to get this. Okay, still in the early game. Early / mid is the Gale Claw stew and the brown cherry meats. Brown cherry meats are just plain. You can cook them. You don't have to cook them. They give the same exact stats regardless. It's just a coloration that's a difference. But the thing here is that because they fill you up so much, they're good for pals that are combating or fighting or whatever. But the Gale Claw ones give you a decrease in sanity and whatnot. So these are normally found in bundles, so you're not going to find one or two of them. I have ×3 spawn out, but that's where you see 6 of them, right? Because now it's normally at like a 1 to 2 to 3 ratio in terms of spawn. So they're good for early and mid game. You need a cooking pot for them as well, but the brown cherry meats, like I said, they are good for fighting and whatnot, because pals eat a lot. They get hungry because they fight so much. But just be careful of this area, because you see here we have 3 pals attacking us, and I'm on my low level account, so I'm getting obliterated right now. You don't see my HP, but you see this red AoE around me? That's me about to die, and I'm literally about to die, so I had to slingshot out. Anyways, yeah, it's found in the investigator's fork area. Nothing really to talk about. It's just that they are flying, so they can be difficult to hit, they can be difficult to aim for, and they have a gap closure. So you're not going to be safe if you encounter them in combat and you're trying to farcast them. No, you can't use your range, because look at that. You just tried to Gale Claw ability at me or whatever. So now we are on the Eastern Wild Island. This place has 5 pals that offer pretty good food. Capritis are raw. Chickpea, lamb bowl, and rush ore are also dishes for the early game. You want to save the elk deer meat for the Locomoco and its defending counterpart. But yeah, so right here, that is an advanced form of the lamb bowl. This is the early game lamb bowl, like I said before in the previous clip. Now, if you want some extra guidance on how to glide and whatnot and slingshot, the gliders are on screen, and a link leading to another video. But yeah, so this is the rush ore bacon and eggs. They cost 2 meats and it costs eggs, but they're very good for early game because they give a chunk of nutrition and sanity, right? The late game one is for defense, late game version, and you see how it costs lettuce. You're not going to be able to get lettuce in the early game or mid game. It's an end game thing. You need, I think, level 40 for that. I don't know, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. So this is the elk idea. Remember what I said? Save the meats, okay? I said that it was for early game food, but I meant to say late game food. This is a pre-recorded, pre-edited version that I did, so I can't get into that. But anyways, this is the Duma Chowder, also late game, not mid game. Okay, ignore that text in the bottom corner. And if you muted me, then, well, you'll soon find out that you can only make this with an electric kitchen, level 41. Okay? So, yeah, right here I'm rocking a single rifle, and you see me doing a lot of damage, but the thing has to, load very slowly. But regardless, this is the Kelpsy, also for late game. You can't make it without the electric kitchen. Okay, what it gives is defense, but it gives you decent sanity and nutrition. So it's an early game, sorry, not early game, it's a spammable food. Now, the cows, you gotta save these meats. Okay, you need the electric kitchen, level 41, to be able to make these meats, these foods, the dishes, okay? The hamburger gives work speed, 50%, while the cheeseburger gives 20% attack, okay? And it makes them fuller, so that's why they're a great endgame food. Now, when it comes to grazing foods, these are the foods that are made through grazing products, okay? We're talking the foods that we find in the grazing, okay? So, we got the jam-filled buns, we got the salads. Ignore that herb roasted caprese thing. I should have blocked that out, but anyways. Pizzas, look at that. Red berries, tomatoes, and milk. Surprisingly. And then we have the marinated the mushrooms. These two aren't a part of the grazing, but I just wanted to include them because they are technically grazable. If you put a base by the Sakurajima area, you can have the pals cut up the mushroom trees. Now we're gonna take a gander at how these foods boost us, okay? Here we go. Mozzarella gives us 50%. This is the hamburger, okay? 50% work speed is massive. Duma chowder gives us 50% work speed. That's massive. That's why I said to save them, right? Very huge. Boom. Look at that. Ignore the negative 50. That's from a passive, but when you look at the food, it says food buff right there. So you're not gonna question me on that because it's literally there. Now we're gonna consume the chickpea, fried chickpea, like I said, late game, because you can only make this with the electric kitchen and plus 30% work speed. It's a very sustainable food. Okay. Now before we get into actually butchering, I highly recommend to 4-star your pals, specifically the ranch ones, because this is how you get most of your food. You're not gonna be able to buy the food until you reach like end game, where you can make a legendary sphere farm, an alpha boss farm, whatnot. And so this is the butcher line, and you know you're gonna see how beautiful this is. You get 2 times the meats and whatever you capture because you can just butcher them. You know, you don't need to worry about the passives because you already have them all out because you're end game. But if you're not end game, you don't have access to this. But I'm just showing you how beautiful it is. I mean, it's kind of sad, but how beautiful and easy it is just being able to do this. 10 pals per assembly line. Look at that. We got all the loot right there. It's so good. The transfer pals are gonna be coming up here soon. I don't have footage of that though, but look at this. That is my code box. They are gonna be depositing it into here, and then I'm gonna go downstairs and cook them all. And it's just a wonderful process overall. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Yeah, so just finishing up the video. This is the disassembly line video. You can click that link; it'll lead you directly to it, or check out the links in the description for some sort of playlist involving it. So yeah, look at it. It's beautiful. You line them up, load them up, and the machine does the rest. Now it is very cruel, I will say. It is not the funniest. It's not the glorious, you know. Goriest, sure, it can be gory, but yeah. And then the transfer pals do the rest. This is one of my favorite parts of the game, literally, because of all my hard work of beating the game has finally paid off, right? It's sad to say, but yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. My name is Jess. Please like and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Peace!